As you guys are aware, I am a cybersecurity architect within IDAM, mainly focusing around Sailpoint, Identity Now, IIQ, and Azure and Entra ID. This is just going to be a very broad, a really broad video regarding how to onboard applications into Sailpoint. Was called Identity Now, which is now called ISC. As you all know, application onboarding is the heart of identity governance and administration, which is called IGA. In Sailpoint ISC, onboarding identities are governed consistently across systems. The following steps is just a broad overview. I can't give you a detailed one because I don't have the actual system to actually explain it line by line. When you're choosing an application, obviously you'll have a spreadsheet which goes out to the application owners, defining the application name, how many users. There's a whole list. It's about 96 different questions, which usually, when you're working in a consultancy, they usually give you that spreadsheet to send out to different application owners. We as architects usually create most of it, but the list is very, very long. I'm not going to sit here in the video just explaining it all. So you'll define the application type, whether it's a direct connection. So if it's a direct connection, it'll be either Workday AD, Azure AD, whatever it is, or if it's a flat file, it's a different sort of process, which I can try and see if I can cover that at the end of the video. And custom connectors. If it's a custom connector that you can't connect directly, then a custom connector which will have to be coded in either by APIs or a script, LDAP script or whatever script that you want to use. So then you'll create the application in ISC, and how you do that is you navigate to the connections tab at the top, click on applications and add a new application. Where you'll have to put in your host URL, authentication method, either it's going to be a basic authentication, OAuth, or whichever, or if you're going to use an API token, you'll need Postman for that. And then you'll head over to the account schema, where you'll define all the schemas for the list of names at the top. So it's basically like a spreadsheet, but it'll have headings, and you have to define all your schemas, what's your unique identifier, so on and so forth. Then you'll identify your identity mappings and entitlements. So what entitlements is that application going to have? That you'll get from the application owners. So the application owners will be able to provide the types of entitlements and renaming some of the entitlements that you can choose and edit and then put through into the application. Then you'll set up, then you'll map out the authoritative source, authoritative identity attribute. So that's a unique identifier, such as email, username, and define entitlements like roles, groups, and permissions. Then setting up correlation. Linking external identities if you are using one, like email, employee ID. Then you'll go into setting up provisioning and deprovisioning. This is for the JML process. So access request, setting visibility and rules, and lifecycle management. For example, joiners, movers, leavers process. Obviously, you'll have to test the application. So whenever you're working within identity access management, this process usually works across several different identity platforms. So you can use it across Okta, Savient. I think the only one this will not work is FordRock. FordRock is a different kettle of fish. Just letting you guys know. It'll work in one identity as well. Ping identity, I believe so, it will. Then you'll test the application integration, run discovery jobs through development, stimulate provisioning and validate account linking and enable governance controls. So the next few ones is policy violations and certification and onboarding the application. So you'll set up access reviews, which are all done when you're setting up this application. Always, one thing I will always say when you're setting up applications and application onboarding is document everything down. The steps you took, if you've encountered any problems or any issues or any risks or any gaps in the system, document everything. For your risks and your gaps would go into a risk assessment. Your gaps would usually go into a gap analysis, which you should have access to putting information into a gap analysis. Or if you're just an engineer or a consultant and not an architect level, then just inform the solution architect or you're one of the managers to ensure that the gaps are filled and risks are assessed. It more or less goes to the project manager. And also document the connection details, attribute mapping, and provision policy for audits and future support. Hope this content was good enough for you. Flat file is the final bit. Flat file works in a different way. It is kind of like a connection, but it's not actually a connection. It's basically an Excel spreadsheet where it's kept in a secure manner. Most of the other steps are not even looked at. So you look at the application, everything's inserted into a flat file. The flat file schemas are set up as an application, but everything's dropped down into a flat file format. No APIs are given, nothing. So it's just that flat file is kept in a secured environment on one of the servers where it's password protected, and that's it. That's basically it. I try and choose not to use a flat file because the flat file situation gets really messy. I try and onboard it as a direct connection, even if they're using a jump box or for getting into the application. You can still try and use a custom connector to connect to the application itself. But if you're not able to use a jump box, or you're not able to use a direct connection or a custom connector, I avoid trying to use a flat file at all costs. So anyways, that's the end of the video. If you like my content, please like, share, follow. To follow me on YouTube, go on my bio. There's a link there. It should be on one of the buttons at the top when you click on that link. So follow me on YouTube as well, because I'm sharing some of my videos onto there. Some of my videos will be coming out soon onto my YouTube channel. Please like, share, follow, and give me a thumbs up if you enjoy this content. Thanks, bye.